1985. A photographer raises a camera and points it at a running child. He presses the button halfway, and the lens moves by itself. It finds focus, instantly, perfectly, without him touching the ring. No camera had ever really done this before. Now the photographer doesn't have to think, the camera thinks for him. This is the Minolta Maxxum 7000, the first camera that focused itself. Overnight, it changed photography forever and made a small company from Osaka the most important name in the industry. For about 18 months, because the company that invented the future was about to be destroyed by it. For decades, autofocus was the one thing no camera maker could solve. Minolta solved it first. It won the revolution, every award, every headline, and then it lost everything anyway. This is the story of the camera that invented the future and didn't get to live in it. Chapter 1. The impossible reflex. For 20 years, autofocus was photography's impossible problem. Everyone wanted it. No one could make it work. The camera had to measure distance, decide, and move a lens, all in the instant before a moment disappeared. Pentax tried first, in 1981, with the MEF. It was slow, clumsy, and hunted for focus like a man feeling for a light switch in the dark. Nikon tried. Canon tried. Every attempt was a gadget, not a revolution. Minolta was not the obvious company to crack it. It was smaller than Canon, smaller than Nikon, a camera and copier maker from Osaka, better known for solid, sensible cameras than for miracles. But while the giants treated autofocus as a feature to bolt on, Minolta started over. They asked a different question. Not how do we add autofocus to a camera, but what would a camera look like if it had been built around autofocus from the start? In February 1985, Minolta released the Maxxum 7000. It was the first camera in the world, with autofocus and motorized film advance built into the body, a complete integrated system that simply worked. To do it, Minolta did something radical. It threw away its old lens mount, the one its loyal customers had bought lenses for over decades, and built an entirely new one, the A-mount, designed around the autofocus motor from the first sketch. It was a betrayal of its own past. It was also the only way forward. You pointed the camera, you half-pressed the button, and it focused. Fast, silent, certain. For the first time, the camera kept up with the world, instead of asking the world to wait. Photographers who tried it described the same feeling, that they had just seen the future, and there was no going back. The world agreed. The Maxxum 7000 swept the industry's highest honors: European Camera of the Year, Japan's Camera Grand Prix, the top award on 2 continents. In a single year, it sold faster than Minolta could build them. In the United States, it became the camera to own. Minolta, the quiet company from Osaka, was suddenly the most talked about name in photography. And in the boardrooms of Canon and Nikon, there was something close to panic. They had been caught completely flat-footed. The two giants who had ruled professional photography for a generation were now staring at a camera from a smaller rival that did the one thing they had all failed to do. Minolta had a head start of nearly 2 years. It seemed unbeatable. It was not. The danger didn't come from Canon or Nikon. It came from a company that didn't even make cameras. Honeywell, an American industrial giant, had spent the 1970s researching automatic focus for its own purposes and had patented the core ideas. Then it had quietly set them aside. When the Maxxum 7000 became a global sensation, Honeywell's lawyers read the headlines, and they recognized their own inventions inside the camera that was conquering the world. In 1987, Honeywell sued Minolta for patent infringement. Minolta fought for years, and in 1992, a jury sided with Honeywell. The verdict: $96 million. By the time the appeals were over, Minolta had paid Honeywell more than $127 million, one of the largest patent settlements photography had ever seen. The success that made Minolta famous was the exact thing that painted the target on its back. Minolta was not the only one. Honeywell went on to collect from across the industry. Canon, Nikon, Pentax, and others all paid to settle. In total, Honeywell extracted more than $300 million from the camera makers for an idea it had abandoned years before. But Minolta had been the test case, the one that fought. And so Minolta paid the most, at the exact moment it could least afford to. The money it should have spent, staying ahead of Canon and Nikon, went instead to a company in Minneapolis that had never sold a single camera. The pioneer had opened the frontier. Now it was paying a toll to cross its own bridge. While Minolta was bleeding money in court, Canon was building its answer. In 1987, Canon released the EOS system, and it did to Minolta what Minolta had done to everyone else. It started over completely. Canon threw away its own lens mount, just as Minolta had, and built a fully electronic one, with the focus motor moved inside each lens. It was faster, quieter, and it scaled. Canon had something Minolta did not: enormous resources and the patience to lose money for years, to win in the end. Nikon answered too. The giants had been humiliated once. They would not be humiliated twice, and they could each outspend Minolta many times over. The revolution Minolta started was now being finished by the very companies it had ambushed. This is the cruelty of being first. The pioneer pays to invent the road. Then everyone else drives down it for free. Faster, cheaper, in bigger cars. Minolta had spent everything to build autofocus. Canon and Nikon studied what worked, skipped the dead ends, and arrived with deeper pockets and lower prices. Through the 1990s, the autofocus war became a price war. And a price war is won by the company with the most money to lose, not the company with the best idea. Minolta still made excellent cameras. It kept innovating, but it never again led the way it had in 1985. The head start was gone. The company that opened the door was slowly being pushed back out of the room. The end came slowly, and then all at once. By the early 2000s, Minolta was exhausted, outspent, outscaled, and facing a new storm even bigger than autofocus had been: digital. In 2003, Minolta merged with Konica, another proud, struggling Japanese name, in the way that two tired companies lean on each other. It wasn't enough. In January 2006, Konica Minolta announced it was leaving the camera business entirely. After more than 70 years, the company that had taught the world's cameras to focus would not make another one. Around 3,700 employees were affected. The Maxxum name, the A-mount, the autofocus patents, the decades of engineering, all of it was about to go dark. Except it didn't, because someone bought the soul. In that same announcement, Konica Minolta revealed that its camera technology, the A-mount, the autofocus, the lens designs, the people who built them, would pass to a company just entering the camera business, Sony. Sony took Minolta's autofocus DNA and built it into a new line of cameras. It called Alpha, after the A-mount it had inherited. And here is where the story bends back on itself. The company that would go on to overtake Nikon, to lead the mirrorless age, to humble the giants who had once humbled Minolta. That company was running on Minolta's invention. Nikon was not beaten by Sony. Nikon was beaten, in the end, by the ghost of a camera maker from Osaka that the world had already written off. Minolta did everything right. It saw the future before anyone else. It took the risk no one else would take. It built the camera that made every camera after it possible, and it won. Completely, undeniably. In 1985, it still wasn't enough. Because being first is not the same as being last. The pioneer clears the forest. Someone else builds the city. Every time a modern camera snaps into focus, in a fraction of a second, every Sony, every Canon, every Nikon, every phone in every pocket on Earth, it is finishing a sentence that a small company in Osaka started on one afternoon in 1985. The Maxxum 7000 didn't get to live in the future it invented, but that future is still focusing. In your hands, right now. If you made it this far, subscribe. We tell the stories behind the cameras that changed everything. The inventions, the gambles, and the people who paid for them. Next time, the camera that went to the moon and the handshake that put it there.